So is that on the Ethereum blockchain? Like it's just like a regular NFTs, like you go to OpenSea, you can buy the music NFT, or how exactly does it work?
Yeah, so when I released Crypto Rich in 2019, there really wasn't music NFTs like you hear about them today. I mean, back then it was a lot more, there wasn't a way to sell your music for crypto. And so I released Crypto Rich just normally distributing it to all platforms. And for a couple years, I was really focused on that. And so 2019 is when Crypto Rich came out. 2021 is when I first minted a music NFT. So I was focused on music videos, promoting the album traditionally, just getting the music out there. And it wasn't until the end of 2020 that I started to see CryptoPunks and some of these other collections coming up and realizing that music was going to be sold through NFTs, right? And that was going to be the best way to monetize your music on the blockchain. So at first, it wasn't totally obvious that you were going to be able to sell music through NFTs. I mean, you started to see people talking about like rights management and all of like putting royalties on chain and some of these ideas that are still around today. But to me, that's not really what ended up making the most sense. What I think makes the most sense now is music NFTs that are more like purchasing the master, like a vinyl of the music, where you're not getting ownership of the music, you're getting ownership of a collectible related to the music. It might contain the music. It gives some kind of utility and special access features. But it took a while for me to see that path because it was a little bit easier to see the potential of like connecting some kind of royalties to the NFT or like ownership related. But that is not necessarily where I see all of the value now. And I've actually chosen to stay away from that stuff because of legal concerns and because of the complexity. And so I've built a lot of value around selling the music and access to my ecosystem.
So are you in there? Are you talking about similar to like securities tokens, where you'd be selling like a percentage of the song itself, and that whoever buys it gets a royalty off of it? Is that what you're saying you wanted to stay away from?
Yeah, that's right. So I've chosen to stay away from that. What
Gotcha.
I view it more as is a product, right? So when you buy my
Sure.
NFT, you get access to come to my shows. You get access to my merch and discounts on my merch. You get access to metaverse concerts. You get access to music or NFT radio on spaces. So when you buy that NFT, it's a usable product, right? That's what you're paying for is a product that can be used to access various different things that I offer, events that I'm putting on, services that I offer, and just access to my community, being able to join the collectors chats and do the various things that we do on a weekly basis, events wise, right? So it's really access to that whole ecosystem. Plus, it's similar to collecting a vinyl or a trading card or buying a rookie card, right? Because what you're doing is you're ultimately investing into my ecosystem, right?
Sure.
So when you own a rookie card or you make a bet on a sports game or something like this, that's a different way to connect to the game, potentially even financially, right? If you're a big time collector of some kind of item, whether it's sports memorabilia or other types of collectibles, you're investing into that, right? So it's not just about the utility, it's about being able to invest into the music and own a collectible for the music, just like if you were to buy a vinyl record, right? If you look up, for example, Nirvana collectible vinyls, Nirvana did a very interesting, a lot of them where there's different rarities. There's one of 1,000, there's one of 100, one of 10,000, whatever the number that were printed are. And you can find out the different numbers for different albums and whether there was some kind of special edition. And so we're really replicating that digitally. And it's not totally new. There's all different types of collectibles. And this is something that's been happening for a long time. But now we can replicate it digitally for music. And so that's what I'm focused on is creating these collectibles so that people can own pieces of the music.
Did you have any troubles or like kind of trial and error in terms of transitioning your fan base over from, you know, mainly streaming platforms to, you know, the crypto side, in terms of the music NFTs? Because, you know, having people go from, you know, just listening to your music on Spotify to actually, you know, having to, you know, get Ethereum, you know, go through the whole process to be able to purchase your music NFTs. Did you have any sort of issue there converting a lot of your fan base?
So the thing is that with music NFTs, the whole point is it shouldn't change anything for the listener who's just wanting to listen to the music casually. So anyone who's not interested in NFTs or isn't interested in learning about this and owning a piece of the music via purchasing it isn't going to learn about this. So I think that I have spent a lot of time trying to onboard people. I've onboarded thousands of people to the space. However, I think it's important to note that it doesn't change anything for the listener who's in Web 2 and streaming. I still release everything on streaming. That is the most important piece to me. The music itself is the marketing plan for the product, which is the NFT, right? So the music should be out there for people to stream so that it can get popular and hit charts and be available on YouTube. And all of that content is helping to further monetize the NFT by promoting your brand. So the NFT has to offer something more than just a listening experience, right? Because the listening experience should be easy and free. And even with music NFTs, you can just listen to the NFT without owning it too. So most of what's happening here is not about paying to listen to the music in Web3. And what I always say to artists looking at the space, thinking about whether or not to come in, a lot of artists are wondering, well, maybe my fans won't get this. What is important to realize is that there's $1 million or $1 billion opportunity here without onboarding any one of your fans, right? And that's not to downplay the value of trying to onboard your fan base. It's just the point is this is a brand new and different market, right? So if I wanted to sell my music in a different country, let's say Europe, right? I might repackage it a little bit. I might change some things about the delivery process and shipping process. And I might have to do some different type of marketing to sell my music in Europe, right? I might have to go tour there, do stuff like that. But I'm not going to get all of my fans. I'm not trying to tell all of my fans to move to Europe, right? What I'm trying to do is bring my brand to Europe through my music, right? And give it to a new market. So what we need artists to realize is that the metaverse and Web3 is a completely new territory for your music. You might need to repackage it as an NFT. You're going to need to learn a couple things about how to release it as an NFT and repackage the content. But then you are taking your music to a brand new market where people have not heard you before, but there's people who are active in that market and buy music. So while it's important to onboard your fans, I think it's a lot more like taking your music to Europe, but Europe is the metaverse, right? And so you need to take your music to the metaverse and start marketing it in the metaverse in a way that makes sense. Do metaverse concerts, go on Twitter Spaces and talk to NFT collectors, right? Find the people that are actually active in this market already and get them to be interested in your brand and your music. So it's a lot more like that rather than focusing on onboarding your fan base. The most successful music NFT artists I've seen are getting 90% of their sales from the NFT community and people that already do NFTs, right? Onboarding is just a smaller piece of it. And it's more about taking your brand to the NFT space. If you have a really strong brand that everyone knows, then everybody who wants and has NFTs is going to want to buy in, right? That's what works best. So it's really about taking your brand to the NFT space. You don't have to be a big artist. You can be a small upcoming artist who just pushes really hard on connecting with the NFT people, and you can be very successful doing that. So that's what's cool about NFTs. You don't need 1 million followers. You just need to put in the work within the community to find the people that are actually buying NFTs.